Hi guys, this is Juan for JuanSource.com. I'm going to be doing a demo commentary on Pandemic versus Venom on DE Contra. And what I really want to stress in this commentary is really post-plan positioning and what I think good positions are in the sites here, because I think that we lost this match mainly due to the post-planning. We were able to take the sites quite a bit, however we lost a lot of late round situations here. So let's go ahead and get started. We had a really good upper spawn, and what we do right here is rush upper right away. I like rushing upper, or I like rushing in general on Contra, because I think that we get there a lot faster than the CTs in most occasions. And so early in the round, or early in the match rather, I would really like to rush a lot, kind of feel out how they're playing it, see how we do in those rounds. So what we did here was we rushed 3 upper, or 4 rather. 3 AKs went underneath while the upper posted up. We were able to get 1 pick upper, but we were unable to get in the site here. I believe we were flashed, so I'm kind of stuck here waiting with the bomb, and I'm waiting for my oppers to make a move. I know I have a flanker from Sandpit, and you might be able to see him on the radar. So what I do is I just wait this out a little bit here. I was completely quiet, so we could have gotten some other guys to rotate off. So that was a good thing, and we only had to contest with 2 in the site. So we got it down to a 3 versus 2 right here. And now I really don't like how we're playing this. Nick's kind of open in the sand pit right here. He's open to being flanked as well. I'm not sure if he knew exactly where they were, but he was kind of in a bad position. We all played that individual. We really didn't set up for trades, and I've stressed that a lot, and we just didn't really do a good job of doing that after the plant. However, we were able to take the site right away, so I'm really not going to kind of abandon rushing, because I like rushing at this point right here. So again, we had good B spawns, and you'll see what I do here is I have the best spawn, and I'm going to go through the plank right away. I kind of flash towards the sand pit, and I'm going to rush towards that guy that I see there. There's going to be 1 plank and 1 this site usually. Excuse me. And we got that plank kill. What I probably should have done is, by the way, I'm going to refer to that as connector, is what I was just saying. I probably should have just stayed in the connector. Usually there will be an op in that window, or at least guys rotating. Instead of probably forcing myself into the site, I probably should have just stayed in the connector. But anyhow, so we're down to, I believe, it's a 2 versus 2 right here with Noit and Paradox, and they're doing a good job of kind of working into the site here. But the positioning that they're in right now is very vulnerable. They're open to so many angles. They're open to spawn. They're open to plank. They're open to box room. And they're open to spiral. So what you want to do is get out of that position as soon as possible. Get out of being in that site, because that site is such a dangerous position. So you'll see what they do here is they go 2 into the spiral room. And usually that's a very good thing, what you want to do post-plant. If you have guys there, you want to get into that spiral room. I'm not sure what Paradox was doing right there. He just saw his teammate die from his spiral and he didn't look there. That was just kind of individual error. But what they did there was get into the spiral right away, and that's exactly what you want to do post-plant. You do not want to sit in the site really at any point in the round. You want to kill a guy in the site and get out of there, because it's such a vulnerable position. But again, we were able to take the site, so we want to stick with rushing here and still continue to work on our holds post-plant. And we're going to do a slightly different version of rushing. Is I throw that flash, and then you see I turn my corner to that box room when I'm going through it, so that I don't get flashed when I'm running in there. And I just run in spamming that box, because I saw the flash come from there, so I go ahead and pre-fire right there. And I get into the spiral as soon as possible. My teammates weren't up as quickly as I thought they were, so I kind of got flanked, which was, I really didn't like how we just let that happen. He just ran from spawn straight into spiral without really paying attention to anything else, and killed me, which is kind of not really good on our part. But anyhow, it's down to a 2 versus 2 again, I think, and we've got bomb, and they're in a very similar situation as last round. And so they flash one area, and they know it's not a very good idea to be in that site, and they weren't very close. So they kind of go around to the plank and sandpit here, which is a good idea on their part. However, they just kind of got caught off guard, and actually both guys were in the plank there, it looks like, and we just kind of got caught off guard there. However, what they did do there was correct, I think. So we have good upper spawns right here, and I think we should continue testing their A on the rushes. What I'm going to be doing is, since we didn't have lower presence on our last rush, I think I'm probably going to be going through there, or either sandpit or working the connector, selling a fake. All 3 of those options would be pretty good. So I get into the connector right here. I'm able to get a kill. I hear an opper by the window room. So what I'm trying to do here is, I know I have 3 guys towards A. I believe they're slow rushing it now, and now I have a guy in the box room. So the box room guy and I are really selling fakes, while the other guys are about to explode out really upon impact in middle. So I'm working aggressive. I see the offer in mid. and I know that he's probably just going to drop back to CT spawn and watch it more passively. So I get into the sand pit here and just kind of avoiding him. And now I hear footsteps, and I think that guy's flanking lower right now. So I tell my teammates that it's probably time to execute towards upper A, and they come out right now. And now I'm working towards the sand pit here to help get trades into the site and work into the site together with them. And we did a good job of really communicating where they were. I heard that lower flank, and that really helped us out. However, I didn't see where that opera just killed me from, but anyhow, so they're doing a better job of post plant right here. They're playing together. It was a little bit sloppy right there, but they played together. They made sure they got the kill. If one didn't, the other did. So that's a good use of getting your trade, setting yourself up for trades. But anyhow, so again, really on Contra, you get good spawns to rush somewhere almost every round. We had good spawns to rush B there. So we have 3 guys rushing towards B while 1 opper is covering me, and I'm getting up this mid quick right here. You see I flash that spot. I believe they might have gotten caught up on that rush right there, so they're delaying right now, and it's also a possibility that they might be on eco. So we're taking it a little bit slower right now. I'm just kind of posting up mid, working up with my opper, while our two guys are sitting outside of B. We pulled it like a mid fake last round and then hit upper A, so what we're going to kind of do here is fake mid and then hit B to kind of throw them off balance from the previous round. So I'm working through the plank right here. Oh no, I guess what they did was they got spotted at B, so they're going back towards A. Now I'm going through the sand pit. Now what happens here when you kill that guy in middle? When you get that pick in middle, very often there's really not going to be anybody there to rotate because they're really more concerned about the sites, and you should be too. In fact, if you kill anybody, the middle will probably be the first area to rotate. Like, say you kill a guy at A, the middle guy will probably be the one to rotate. Say you kill a guy at B, again, it'll be the middle guy. So usually there's an opening on middle, and that's kind of referring back to my last article about designing fakes and kind of anticipating their rotates. I anticipated their rotate there. I anticipated wrong. He was still watching the CT spawn. However, a lot of times you will get that rotate off from CT spawn into the site, so you will see an opening there, and you have a lot of room to work with if you get into that CT spawn, and it really causes problems in their defense. But again, like I said before, you always get good rush spawns right here, and we do have 4 up towards B. I'm unfortunately the worst spawn with the bomb, so I think that's why we decided not to rush because I was so far back. But we are, again, slowly working this middle right here. We're able to get this pick on middle quite a bit, so we're going to continue working that and towards the B right here, and probably do a late round explode towards B. And I think what Mike is doing there, yeah, he was in the box or picking towards in the site, and usually that's a pretty solid pick. I don't think playing in the site like they are playing is a very good way to play it. However, he did beat us out on that round. However, playing in the site, I think you're so open to flashes and so open to kind of just being spammed through that box that I think that's a good area to kind of attack against as terrorists. But however, we weren't able to get the pick right here. And I think right now it's down to like a 2 versus 3, 2 versus 4 situation here. 25 seconds. They really should probably hurry up before the rotates come if they want a chance to win this round. That's exactly what they're doing. Grant is hurrying up right here. He pushes into the spiral and clearing, and that's always what you want to do here. When trying to plant the bomb, you always want to clear that spiral because a lot of times someone is kind of just lurking in there. So that's something you want to take note of T side as well as CT side. I think if you're solo holding that site, say that you have to rotate to the other site, or one of your teammates has to rotate to the other side at A, and you're stuck at B holding the set by yourself. I think a spiral is a good place to hold it from because you're really not really open to flashes at all, and you can kind of just spot, delay it, force them to stay in the site while you're calling for rotates. But anyhow, so I don't know if this is the last or second to last round, but we're ecoing here, and we're just rushing upper because it worked on the first round. We were able to get out right away. However, in this case, he was able to get a lot of nice shots off of us. I don't know if he just aced there, but he got... Oh, no, there was 2 guys there, in fact. That's why they must have anticipated that rush right there since we really haven't been hitting lower. You'll see what I do here. Since we really haven't been having success on a lot of our strategies, I smoke that bridge cross. I do that a lot because I don't want... There's almost always going to be an opera in mid. I don't want the other team to know how many we have at B. That's always a disadvantage to you when they know how many you have towards B. So you want to really smoke that off so that they really can't have a reliable count as to how many you got there. So that's going to allow us to go A without them being able to pre-rotate off towards A. So again, what I have been doing on almost all the other rounds. Haynes gets a nice shot off on me. I didn't think I even saw him in there. I was in the connector, but it's down to, I believe, a 3 versus 5. We have one guy coming from lower to upper, and we were able to catch one guy off guard. I'm not sure what he was looking at. But we get in the site and plant right here, and you'll see, take notice to our post plant here. Nick's kind of at the muck spot right there. That's what we refer to it as. But again, we just kind of played solo there, which is exactly what you don't want to do. And I think Nick was a little bit too. He peaked a little bit too much there. He kind of died before they came into the site. I wasn't sure if there's another guy down there, but you really want to make them make the move when the bomb's planted, especially when it's planted like it is there. They really have to come all the way into the site, defuse the bomb, and you have so many angles to shoot them from and so much time to play with that you really want to let them make the first move. So what we're doing here is a full split rush on A. We're getting up quickly right here. Take notice to the kind of the line and flash pattern it took right there. It's a really fast pattern that it catches the guys off guard there. And like I said, I definitely like rushing here because I caught him completely off guard right there. And I pushed him to the sand pit because I'm trying to help my guys get out upper. You don't want that sand pit operator to just have his free will on picking the upper, because he will pick a lot of guys off there if he's just able to sit and pick guys come out upper. So if you're a lower guy, you would definitely want to push out in that situation and help clear it for your teammates. So it was only like a 3-6 or 7-2 half for us, and we got the bomb planted a lot, and it would have been a lot better for us had we were able to just hold the bomb plant post plant. And what you want to do is really just in the B site, sit inside spiral, sit outside box room. Don't sit in box room or sit into the site, because that's going to be the first spot they're going to look at in pre-fire. So you definitely want to make those adjustments. We didn't really do a great job of it, but that's definitely something you want to look out for. Okay, as for the CT side, I played this middle connector a lot. I really like playing aggressive. I've discussed this in another commentary that it's really beneficial to be aggressive here. It gives you a lot of spotting opportunities, a lot of flanking, rotating opportunities, and you could get a lot of picks here on the lower end and on the bridge right here. So I heard a guy lower, and I don't really hear much mid, so I'm immediately on the flank because we're at a disadvantage, so I'm trying to make a move here right now. So I flanked the upper. I really like flanking upper more so because I think you catch uppers off guard here. I think nobody really dedicates to this very quickly, and so I'm able to catch a lot of people off guard. And as you see, I get one right there. Raheem's got a nice shot on me, but it's down to a 3 versus 1 right now, and they do a good job of attacking this together. They go towards him and they get the trade. Nick missed his shot there, but the other they take notice here that they have to push him, and they do that. So again, I hop through this one, and take notice of the pre-flash I throw. I always throw this. Oh, that was a bad one. It should have been more to the right, but I always throw that pre-flash instead. And there was a lot of flash that smokes up middle. So that either means they're rushing mid, or they're probably either like rushing towards lower or A. So what I do is just spot this bridge right here. When I don't see anything, I'm gonna probably rotate towards A, or flank like I did the previous round, because I did a good job of that. I got a free kill, and they weren't even watching it. But we're still at advantage right now. I'm hearing calls from my teammates that they're not quite in the site yet, so they could be pulling a fake. So I sit in my spot, but I did see one going towards upper, so I just kind of try to shoot him in the back. However, he saw me, or he saw my shots and my nades, so instead of chasing him, he's probably just posted up on me. So instead of chasing, I just avoid him and go to help in the site with the rest of my teammates. And now we're just waiting for them to make the move. It's 4 versus 2, and they just kind of ran into us. Again, this is the... Oh, well, what I do this round is because I got so flashed in the sand on the previous round, that just kind of opened up a possibility of a B-rush for them. So what I do is just sit in the window in case they do B-rush. I don't want to be caught in that sand blind if they're rushing on me, and just get a free kill on me. So what I do is I sit window here, I spot for the plank, and just kind of be very active on the middle. I don't want to just sit here. I want to do a lot of spotting, and I want to just don't let them nade me or pick me just because I'm sitting static. I want to be very aggressive here, very active here. And so I just kind of play with the guy in the connector right here while my teammates, I'm assuming this guy is probably just selling a fake. So what I do is I just go over towards where the action is. I notice both my teammates are at B are down, even though there is a lot of action at A right now. They're just, the other team is just kind of splitting up right now. They're splitting the map. So we got the kills at A, and I know there's one middle. The rest are probably going towards B. So instead of going through the spawn, a lot of teams will have like someone post up on the spawn from like box room. I go through the spiral because I don't want to let the guy go in the spiral and just kind of sit there the whole round and play with us. Like I said, it's a very good post plant spawn, and I don't want to allow him to get there. So I go up through the spiral right here. And try to meet up with my teammates. Now it's down to a 2 versus 2, and I know the bomb's taken away, and I know that I don't have like a good angle to defuse it from, to be covered from. So what Nick does is he tosses down a smoke, and then he begins covering me. We're unable to get that round because he was able to just kind of pick us from the box room. Nick wasn't able to hit a shot while I was defusing. But that's, I think we made the right play there. We were kind of stuck in a tough situation, so we smoked off the bomb and started defusing with cover. And notice I was patient on that. I didn't start defusing right away. I waited for my teammate to come up. So I saw one on the bridge right there, and I tried peeking because I figured he would be flash or caught in a bad position. However, I peeked out and he instantly headshot me, so that was just unfortunate for me. But you'll notice what Paradox is doing. Well, you can't quite see it in my point of view all the time, but he plays in the spiral. He plays very active. He peeks the box, and we have another teammate in plank. And you notice how I died in middle, how we didn't really rotate to mid. That's the case for a lot of teams, and how I was talking about it in the last half. And when you get picks, a lot of the times mid becomes open. So if you get a pick or A, B, again, you want to try to hit mid. But just notice Griff and I think Mustang here. Yeah, they're playing double on the lower site right here. And Kyle is going to kill the bomb here in a second, I think. And they do a pretty good job right here of kind of getting in a position to cover the bomb and anticipating where they were going to come from. However, I don't know if they just flashed themselves or if they flashed in there. Just kind of screwed it up for him. But Grant is able to get 2 kills right here. And you'll notice the time is really low. So he gets back down in that sewer. He makes him make the move. He probably could have even fallen back further, but you definitely want to force the terrorist into making a move in that type of situation. So I got killed from the bridge room, and I think they've kind of caught on to me going into the connector a lot. So what I do is I just sit in the window right now. And that was a good choice on my part because they did decide to rush. I knew one of these rounds they would. And so I just kind of flash that spot and peek out and cover the plank for my teammates. I always let my teammates know that I'm covering that plank so that they can focus more on box room right there, because it is difficult to hold a B rush. So that if I'm able to cover plank from that window, it makes it a lot easier on my teammates to cover in the site. And I think that's kind of a responsibility of the mid guy early in the round, is to cover for that B rush, because it is very difficult to hold otherwise. But now I'm not sure if it's down to a 2 versus 1 or 2 versus 2. I don't have tab, but anyhow, so they're going to push us together, and that's exactly what you want to do. And Nick did a good job of posting up on the spur right here. Kyle's just nading out on the plank, just pre-nading, clearing spots right now, and this round they're going to lose because of a very poor timing. It's down to a 2 versus 1 right now, and Nick just starts defusing right away. Okay, they pretty much checked everything. They checked plank, they looked towards spawn, they killed a guy's spiral. So the other guy is probably going to be spiral. It's possible he's going to be spawn, but not quite as likely. Nick started defusing before Kyle was even up the spiral. That was just poor communication. That's going to that cost us the round, and eventually it's going to cost us the match because we do lose by 1 round. And stuff like that is just stuff you want to completely avoid, because communication and stuff is completely in your control. So losing rounds to it is just completely unacceptable, and really it's a momentum killer. But anyhow, you got to move on. So I pushed in the connector right here, and that's kind of a mistake on my part. A lot of times you don't really want to push into that connector in the middle of the round. If you can get in that connector and get position in the middle of the round, or I'm sorry, in the very beginning of the round, it's often very good to hold. However, getting in the middle of the round is quite a bit more difficult, because a lot of times there's a guy posted up on the bridge looking towards that connector, or there's guys up mid already in the connector. So it's kind of a mistake on my part there to try to push into that. I think I was a little overly aggressive there, trying to make too much of a move there in the middle. But now I think it is down to a 2 versus 1 again. And Nick and Kyle are very patient here. I believe they know that the other guy has bomb. So what they're doing is again just waiting for him to make the move, being very quiet, not giving away their position. And Kyle's just kind of lurking through this plank room right here. And in a second, I believe he's going to hear the bomb. And he does a good job of going towards this guy. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, he did hear the bomb. And he rushed right towards the guy as soon as he was planning. And the guy was only down to 5 seconds. So Kyle had a smart move there. If the guy got off the bomb and tried to kill Kyle, he wouldn't have had enough time to plant. If he didn't get off the bomb, Kyle was obviously going to kill him. So Kyle and Nick made a smart play there to make up for the previous round. So again, I don't want to go into the connector. I've been dying quite a bit there, being very aggressive. So I drop back to this window here, and again I want to be very aggressive, very active in this middle. And that smoke right there actually I think helps me in most cases. Since I'm a rifler, I think I'm more and I'm not opping mid. I think I'm more likely to get picked than from their ops in mid than my op from my Colt into them opping deep into T spawn. So I think that smoke helps me. I'm able to spot it a little bit better. I'm able to see if someone gets into the connector right there, and I know I dinked this guy going into the connector. So I want to continue being very aggressive on him because this guy's often been the mid faker, kind of like my position on the T side. Was last half, how I would just get in that connector and work it, and kind of I was able to call for my team where I think we should go because I had a very open view of the map. I was able to see plank, I was able to see all of mid, and I could kind of hear what was going on in B. So but anyhow, so I guess that guy, I got that kill. Now it's down to I think a 2 versus 3 and 1 versus 3, and I know this guy was just kind of toying with me in mid. I didn't peek him fully. I didn't want him to kill me. I was at we were at advantage, so I just want to kind of play with him, delay his time a little bit, and spot where he was going. So that's why I really didn't get full on aggressive trying to kill that guy in the middle when I saw him. But now it's down to a 1 versus 3, and again we want to just kind of identify where he is and work together to kill him. I pushed through that sewer to clear that right away. I don't want him to just kind of pop up through that sewer when we're defusing and be able to kill 2 or 3 of us. So I was sure to clear that. So again, I'm going to continue playing in the window because I've been staying alive, and I've been able to be more effective later in the round by just kind of sitting here. And again, I anticipated a B rush, so I went ahead and did my flash in the sand pit right there. Sure enough, they did rush. I was able to get another kill. So I believe we have bomb down towards B, and obviously there's a guy in there. So we just want to collapse on him from all angles. Instead of going through plank, I already had a teammate in there, so I go through the box room, and then we're able to get him from even another angle there. So. So again, they're smoking up the middle. A lot of times when they smoke that middle like that, it either means they're going quick mid or quick A. And since we've been shutting them down at B, what I do is pre-rotate towards A here, and that's an adaptation you definitely want to make if a team is kind of losing at one side all the time and winning at the other. You want to pre-rotate to that. So what I do here is I rotate into the sand pit, and we really played A very poorly. I was very aggressive on the sand pit, while Nick dropped very passive on the back hall there. He was opping in that back hall where he is right now, and he pretty much stayed there that whole time. That was just a miscommunication right there, or I don't know, something, a disagreement there that he wasn't aggressive and I was. So that kind of cost us a life there, and we probably could have gotten a lot more kills. They really just ecoed and rushed out upper end. And when they're ecoing like that, I think we should have played a lot more aggressive on it, and not allow them to get in the side and the bomb down, because that puts us at a disadvantage again. So we should have done has been a lot more aggressive, and that actually turned out to be the last round, and we lost on an eco, so that was pretty upsetting. But anyhow, I hope you take note to the mistakes that we made, and you can do a better job of fixing those for your team. So, well, I had a good time doing this, and I look forward to the next one.